All right, so what do we got again? We have the Apache case from Harbor Freight, which means it's time for another orange case inductee, meaning that I got another folding knife done. So I'm going to go into the knife, then I'll open the case up and I'll put it in, and then I'll prepare to do another knife after that. But here's the case, and let's get to showing the knife, huh? So here's the knife. It's been, this has been a bit of a challenge, shall I say. It's been good. I made this out of a 440C blade, 305 stainless steel liners. And it was quite the experience. So I'll go into a little bit about it here. It opens pretty well. I thought I was going to go without a detent bowl, but I went ahead and I had a 1/16 inch ball bearing for the detent. Then I had a 1/16 inch drill bit that I drilled in, and it seemed like that it was a little too big for the detent. So I ordered some detent balls off of Amazon, and the detent balls came in today, and so I actually was able to just drill that out ever so slightly, and I put a 2mm detent ball in there. So now it's actually closing. It comes in here and it actually closes. So, and the thumb stud is a piece of brass rod that I had actually lathed down. It was my first lathe job that I did. Doesn't look half bad. I drilled it a little off center, but I decided to go ahead and take that and use a 172 screw in the back, one of these very small screws. And I kept breaking taps. I broke taps on the 459 screws. These are 459 screws here. And I also have 459 screws holding the spine together. I also have 459 screws coming in through the liner and the micarta to hold those clips on with some nuts. I had went ahead and I had actually had fire anode with a map torch, so I don't have a setup done for chemical anodizing. This is not titanium, this is 305 stainless steel, and I went ahead and I lit that up with a map torch, and I was able to get some pretty cool colors. I got some plum color off of the inside here. I had got a nice, do some blue here with a bit of a gold at the end. I don't know if that's showing up on the camera or not. And I've learned quite a bit about this knife. Now I'm going to kind of point out, and the green micarta turned out pretty well, but I'm going to kind of point out a little bit of the goof ups here. And if you notice, there's a little piece of metal sticking out here, and I'll kind of explain what happened. I had made the boo-boo of that's a stop pin in there, and what the stop pin does is the stop pin holds the blade out, okay, but it also comes back and gives the blade something to rest against when closed, and so that makes it so it doesn't go all the way back in and ding itself against the divider. It also catches the detent at the same time, and it rests right here. And I almost put it together with, I almost go ahead and rolled without the detent, but I'm glad I was able to get that detent ball in. But like I said, I goofed up, so I went ahead and drilled there's two holes in this blade. There's two pivot pin holes. And I went ahead and drilled back another hole next to it. And even then, it's a little bit goofed up, and I wound up actually drilling another stop pin behind the pivot pin, which is this piece here, and I went ahead and drilled that stop pin here, and it was still interfering with the turning of the blade. So finally, I drilled yet a third stop pin hole way back here, and finally got results that I was going to consider desirable. I wasn't going to go ahead and waste another piece of 440 to start over with the blade. However, I was good that I did start over again. I did make a first blade I wasn't very happy with. And so this is a second restart on this blade here. But I wasn't going to go for a third restart on the blade. So, and how would I avoid this? Probably next time make a more thorough diagram that I could actually go ahead and working model out of paper that I can go ahead and move around and see how that pivot pin will interact with that stop pin and see that it still works. But putting the pivot pin forward is pretty much a fundamental error. It should have been avoided, at least by somebody who knows as much as I do. I mean, I don't know everything, obviously, but it looks pretty good. It looks really good closed. Aside from that piece of metal right there sticking out, it actually doesn't look half bad. The anodization comes through. It comes together. We did have to pound and pound and pound to get that detent here and then finish it this way, but it is breaking free with the thumb stud move. Now, the thumb stud move was an interesting call because I wanted to place the thumb stud on the knife further back so I can get a full purchase on the sharpening. I didn't want to have to take off the thumb stud between sharpening. And so when I close this, it catches like right here on this part here. So if you look at it dead on, I don't know if you've noticed that, but there's a section that's missing some of the anodization. I actually went to the grinder and ground that off with a fork, with a, no, not a fork tip, an 8-inch wheel and a micron belt. And I took that down real slightly, so it is just slightly lower. Maybe at a glance they don't notice it. So when I open it, the thumb stud doesn't catch the front of the scale, so it freed that up to close. So there's several things to troubleshoot when doing one of these. Another thing I kind of wish I would have done was change the way that I had tapped the pins. Tapped the screws. I had to basically put these through here, leave them loose, and then go ahead and assemble the knife and then tighten these last. So I had some screws hanging around there, then install the blade. I kind of wish I would have done it the other way. It would have made it easier. And not only that, but this is what I kept doing here. I kept having clips. These are actual brass clips I was making, and this is the first one here, I think, if I remember right. And if you look there, there's a little bit of a dip. This was to fit right inside this dip and be the clip. I was supposed to shave that down, but I kept losing taps in it. I kept breaking taps, putting the taps in it. Finally, I said, the heck with it. I want to get this wrapped up, get this knife done. I was up till 2 o'clock last night finishing this thing up, and finally did the detent pin and the last sharpening. And the sharpness is it's okay. I probably could stand to start paying more attention to the grinds. I probably could actually. Spine whacking isn't closing the knife, so I'm doing this, and the knife is not closing. It was closing all for quite a bit of the night last night. I kept trying to mess with it without taking it apart. Finally, I went ahead and gave the face here, not the lock face, but the face of that goes against the lock. I made a couple nice deep passes with the 80 grit, and it's actually interesting because I got a kind of a semi-early lockup, and it was in the spine whack test was closing it. See, I kind of jostled it forward a little bit there. Now it's halfway in the middle, but last night it was all the way late. It was all the way to the end there. But the spine whack test was knocking it shut initially before I had made that pass with the belt sander. And eventually I can also even come up here with my finger and close it with my thumb. I can push down and close it with my thumb. So the spine whack test was actually failing. Now I was a little bit bummed out, but I did actually get it to stay open, and it worked out for the best, and I got it all finished, and it's all been taken care of, and I'm pretty glad that it's all done. It's been good. It's been good. It's been a good experience. Accidentally drilled all the way through I forgot what scale, one of these scales. There's actually 2 O-rings under the pivot pin on one of these sides here, and that keeps the depth right. I did have perfect depth, just like the other one. I had perfect symmetry. I had perfect, almost nearly dead on thickness between the divider here and the stack. I almost had it just right on the money. I did leave the post heat treatment here and on the spine of the blade, and I'll be honest, I was probably being a bit lazy and just didn't clean it up, but I actually kind of like how it looks closed because it blends in with the fire treatment on the liners. So it does kind of have a nice look while it's closed. Then it opens it up, and this stainless steel shiny blade is out. So it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. It's been a good endeavor to go from one of these every decade to literally one of these every other week. I was trying to make it where it was every week, but I think I'm probably realistically going to be running this every other week. And so that's probably going to be the extent of it, and it's been a good experience. So I got something planned coming up. I'm going to be doing some different G10. I ordered some G10 off of Amazon, so I happened to order green and black because I thought that one that I did so well with the green and black, and it wound up being like I'll grab it real quick if you want to see it. And then I also have orange, green and black here. So I got this it's like a almost like a fluorescent green. I thought to myself, I got orange. Maybe I'll do Halloween. I'll do Halloween this October, and I'll make 2 knives out of this month. Maybe a semi-Halloween theme with some more Halloween-y colors to it. So I originally set out to do something like Bob Loveless, like a Bob Loveless folder. I wanted to do a bolster with but I decided I thought, well, maybe that little brass stud would be like my accent, and it just turned out to be my own thing. Last night grinding was just absolutely atrocious on this thing, but I did actually manage to clean it up a bit. So the grinding was just horrible, and I actually went back to it and made some deeper passes, and I actually found some old Trizac belts that I had, and I was able to kind of do a little bit more digging into the hollows, a little bit more finishing with the microns. But I'm going to go probably and start running a 10-inch belt, a 10-inch serrated and a 10-inch finishing. And I might start doing that soon, so I need to acquire some of those for my grinder. So two more wheels, and I think those are the wheels I need. I probably originally should have bought 10 inches. I think I meant to buy a 10-inch, and I wound up accidentally buying an 8, but it's all good. That was several years ago. Well, anyway, time to open the case, and time to put this thing into the case, close it, and get ready to make the next one. So here's the case. Starting to like this now. I put some locks on it. I'm kind of getting some value in this case building up. I got to put locks on it to protect my value. So I had to buy a set of double master locks to lock up my case. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, and let's see what we got. This should be let's see, I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is folder 5. Folder 5. So 4 liner locks and one friction folder. So let me go ahead and. Now I was cutting paper with this earlier, so hopefully I don't get embarrassed and it doesn't cut my pre-cut foam. There we go. Okay, so will this, do I need to do another? Okay, there we go. So, we need to do another, I need to do another, or is that good enough? We need to hollow out another side here. No, I think that might be it. Maybe I'll get out of doing a knife yet, because this thing will be big enough to. Okay, I think that'll work. That's probably more like it. That's more like it. Okay, so look at that. Look at all that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I got 2 more planned coming in the next month. So let's go through and see what we got here. So here's my first one from 2006. I went ahead and I got my signature actually on, so I don't want some millennial identity thief seeing that and starting to write checks in my name. Titanium liners, ATS 34, red G10 with just some nondescript steel. Now here's the reblade that I did. This was under the original Behemoth label, but I came back, pulled the old knife out, and I had actually went ahead and did the 3/16 D2 blade in that one. Went ahead here. This is the friction folder that I did under the Behemoth label. That's 440C with a Warncliffe style blade. Still actually, I carried this off and on for a year. On the old blade, I carried that for a year. Then this is the recent one that I did a couple weeks ago. And this is 440C with 305 stainless steel liners. And here is the current one. 440C with 305 stainless liners, micarta handles. So this is G10, that's micarta. So G10, 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 and micarta. So there it is. There it is. It's all assembled, and it's going to. I'm going to fold them back up and close the case and get back to work. Because the stuff doesn't make itself. It doesn't design itself. I have to get in there and make it happen, guys. So I have to do this. So, and I thought to myself, well, you know, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? You know, and I thought why I'm at it. I'm like, what's the meaning of life altogether? I'm like, I'm not really have any plans on selling this. I would sell this. I would sell this as a whole set when it's done. It would be a lot of money if I sold this. A lot of money. And so I had decided that, well, is this ridiculous just making these knives for this case and spending time out here doing this? I thought, well, what would I be spending my time doing anyway? Right? What would I be doing anyway? And I thought to myself, well, it was all ridiculous. It was all ridiculous. The last 2 or 3 years have just been ridiculous. So why not just engage in this ridiculousness too? That's why I thought I should be doing it. I'm just going to be here filling this case. It's my new ambition is to fill this case with folders. So I don't know what you saw me count. I'm like 35 folders are going to go into this case made by me. And right now, no, actually not 35. It's going to be more like 40, because I think 30 was like 32 after the count. So I'm going to have 36 to 40 in here by the time I'm done. And it is what it is, and that's what I'm going to do. And so I'm going to go ahead and close the first one here, and I don't want to sew my signature. I don't want somebody to start writing checks in my name. So here's my other one. Close that. Then close my friction folder, which is pretty easy to do. Put that back in here. Close this last week's liner lock. Or the one that was a couple months ago. And close this week's liner lock. And so, I don't know, maybe I'll develop a name for some of these. I don't know. Maybe I should name these. So okay, so there they are, all tucked away and comfy, and waiting for their newest friend to come along. So, all right, so I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna lock her up, and hey, what can I say? All I can say is just don't worry about the haters, and just let those haters worry about you, okay? And that's what I'm doing. Is I'm just thinking this is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm just out here just doing the ridiculousness. That's what I'm doing. I'm just doing ridiculous. That's what I'm doing. Maybe that's the year's theme. Maybe that'll be the New Year's theme, is just doing ridiculous 2025. So get used to seeing the orange case. And then maybe after that's full, maybe I want to do it again. Maybe I'll just go ahead and we'll take a trip to Harbor Freight, and we'll pick another case. We'll pick another color. So, okay. All right. See ya. Bye.